2025 is coming to an end, and today we're gonna look a bit into the future. What do I see as the coming trends in the following years? I'm gonna give you 4 examples, and I think the 4th one might surprise you. Here we go. Hello, my name is Adam Hesselbom. I am a composer and a musician. I'm based in Malmö, Sweden, and on this channel I talk about my life in music and film, and how I make music and how I manage music business. And you should subscribe to my channel because I post videos on topics just like this one every week. Today I'm gonna make some predictions into the near future, and if you're watching this, a couple of years from now, then you should definitely head into the comment section and tell me how wrong I was or maybe how right I was. But here we go. Here are 4 trends that I see coming in the following years, 2026 and beyond. Number 1 is curation over algorithm. Have you noticed that when you watch let's say a political thriller on a big streaming service, when you finish it, you are immediately presented with 5 more shows just like that one that you already watched? This, of course, is the algorithm. And the algorithm assumes that if you liked one thing, you want more of the same, of course. But is this really what we want? Like, if you had pasta for dinner yesterday, do you want to eat pasta today, tomorrow, and the day after that also? Or will you maybe go for some chicken and rice tonight and a soup tomorrow? I don't think this is how culture should be consumed, and I think more and more are tired of just being presented more of the same. We are lacking, a refreshing view or, a change of pace or something different, something that challenges us. I'm old enough to remember going to the cinema. You would ask your friends, should we go to the movies tonight? And you went to the movies and you picked a movie that was screening and then you watched it, and it could be a good film, it could be a bad film, and afterwards you could go out for drinks and discuss the film. And this is curation because a movie theater decides what films to screen, and they decide which are the most attractive ones that should have the most attractive time slots. And my prediction is that streaming services will start to do this too. I think we will see some sort of curation happening on the big streaming platforms. There could be a themed period. There could be selections by famous filmmakers or actors, or even movie critics and influencers. And they will present lists of films and TV shows that they would like you to watch. And instead of going with more of the same, you could instead trust a curated selection and see more of that. I think we will even see more niched streaming services like Mubi is today. Streaming services that don't have, their own content, but are instead focused on niche genres or niched geographical areas or niched genres or something like that. I think, if I want to go really far, I think that streaming services might even start to do some sort of now playing channel, like TV used to work. That you will open your streaming service, go to now playing, and you will just be thrown into something that is playing like TV. I think, in general, we will see a return to some things that we have abandoned recently, but that were working perfectly fine. But, that's a broader perspective. Number 2, imperfect is perfect. With the rise of AI both as a tool and as the sole creator of content, I think that perfect is not going to be the golden standard. It's actually going to be the lowest bar to pass. Right now, you can, usually spot AI content because people have the wrong number of fingers or some other, little detail that is a bit off. But as the models get better, these artifacts will disappear and the product will be more sleek, more perfect, more clean. I think we will see a counter reaction to this, and in fact I think it has already kind of begun. people will strive to leave imperfections in their work to prove that they are human. We will start hearing music that sounds very makeshift and very homemade, even though it's produced in a professional studio. And this, of course, is also sort of a continuation of the trend of people using plugins to emulate analog gear, because digital music is so clean and pristine that you want to inject some life into it. I mean, I work, in the box, all in a computer, and I use plugins to add artifacts so it sounds a bit more alive and a bit more analog. Number 3 is story, story, story. This, of course, is a continuation of the previous one, but I think in general, people are a bit discouraged by how the music industry is working. They see hit songs having a lot of co-writers, and there is a facelessness to this kind of music, and AI is only doing more damage to this because it's truly, truly faceless and truly without any author. And I think the way to go forward is to package music in a more human way. And the only thing that humans have that AI doesn't is story. And I mean, that's why I go on YouTube every week, because I want you to have a human connection to me. I want you to be interested in what I do as a human. I am a human who have human problems, and I make human music. And I think this will go for a lot of artists, and I think this is actually great news for anyone making music, because if you have something to say, then that will separate you from the big mass anyway. So if you want to benefit from this, make sure that you tell a story, that you tell your story, and that you attach your story to your music. If you are a human, then that's good news, because humans will be in demand. Number 4 is no samples used. You might have noticed a trend over the past years that filmmakers brag about their films having no CGI and only practical effects. Now, if you haven't already, you should watch the series here on YouTube called No CGI is Just Invisible CGI by the Movie Rabbit Hole. I will link it here. But for now, let's just assume that this is true. There was a time where movies were a bit more magical. I mean, people went to see Jurassic Park upon its release, and they were blown away by the lifelike dinosaurs. And there was this itch in our heads when we were watching movies back in the days. This question burned, how did they do this? How is it done? And there are so many documentaries on how classic movies were made. I'm sure you have seen them, the ILM crew creating the miniatures for the original Star Wars films and everything. We just assume everything's computer.
Everything's computer. That's beautiful.
We don't wonder how it's made, we just assume it was made by a computer or in a computer. And this is of course ignoring that good CGI is really complex and really hard to make. And practical effects are not inherently better than CGI, in my opinion. I think this trend will spill over to film music as well. Back in the 70s and 80s, when the rock group Queen released their first albums, they had this label no synthesizers were used in the creation of this record. And this was a big issue back in the day, because it was assumed that using synthesizer would put musicians out of work. Now, in hindsight, I think we can say that synthesizers did not erase musicians, it sort of created new musicians instead. But I think this could do a comeback in film music. I think we can see composers and filmmakers and studios marketing their films as having scores, played by humans without any samples. This, of course, will be a truth with some disclaimers, and there will be people uncovering the truth about the score to this and this film, that it was actually using samples all along. But bottom line is that creating a cinematic orchestral sound is very cheap these days. You can create it for, practically nothing in your bedroom. I mean, I have done that. But the real deal is still very expensive. And I think any sort of wonder about how was this made if it's all human? It doesn't sound human, but it is human. So I am expecting this to be, a marketing gimmick that will be used by composers, studios, filmmakers. So keep an eye out for that. So what do you think? Am I right in my predictions or am I wrong? Are you watching this from the future and want to prove me wrong? Then write a comment under this video. And if you're not subscribed, then subscribe because I post new videos every week. And if you thought this was interesting, then please like this video so more people can find it. And I will see you on the next one. Cheers!